Sawadee a very good morning to all of you, and welcome to the SET Opportunity Day of PTL. So let's go over the company overview. Polyplex Group is one of the leading PET manufacturing companies with concentric diversification into BOPP, CPP, blown PP, and PE films. With 7 manufacturing plants at a group level, we have operations in all key geographies, demand centers like Americas, Europe, India, and East Asia. We are vertically integrated both upstream and downstream. We have one of the most diversified product range catering to both industrial packaging applications across multiple industries and segments. And over the years, we have achieved deep market penetration, leading to a customer base of over 2,650 customers across 75 countries. And we are one of the lowest delivered costs in all the locations that we operate in. A little bit about Polyplex journey. Polyplex journey so far has been quite enriching over the last 20 plus years at PTL and over 34 years if we include our parent company in India. We have established presence in new geographies, and we have continuously invested not just in waste film capacity, which is top line growth focus, but also parallelly invested in value-added downstream businesses to enhance our specialty portfolio, which is more bottom line focused. We have been the industry trendsetters in terms of technology adoption, productivity, sustainability initiatives. To name a few, ours is the only 10.6 meter line operating at a speed of 675 meters per minute. We are the first and the only producer in Southeast Asia to undertake the direct melt cast for our BOPET film production. We were the first to invest in recycling of post-industrial waste, post-consumer waste at our subsidiary EcoBlue in Thailand, and amongst the first to introduce chemical recycling-based rPET films at Polyplex. We are probably the only multinational player with vertical integration both upstream and downstream in all our manufacturing locations. Our commitment to sustainability and innovation is evidenced through investment in mechanical recycling at EcoBlue and chemical recycling, enabling us to produce 100% post-consumer recycled content in our PET films. We have products to enable circularity through mono-PET structures, bio-content films, PVC replacement films, rPET films, to name a few. And we deliver products catering to various sustainable applications such as solar panels, lithium-ion battery for EV segment, window films, transfer, metallized paper, etc. And we have continuously invested in assets and modifications for energy saving, water saving, and waste reduction. Moving on to our financial performance. We've been able to deliver strong financial performance in this financial year. And if we note all the key financial parameters, we see a significant improvement, be it the volumes. Volumes are mainly on account of the capacity expansions that we had, the BOPP line in Indonesia, the blown film line in Turkey, the twin screw extruder that we commissioned in Thailand, the metallizer in Indonesia. Along with the volume growth, we have seen a growth in our sales revenue, in our EBITDA, both in terms of absolute EBITDA as well as EBITDA in terms of rate per kilo. And this has also led to an improvement in the earning per share. And all of this has been possible due to our focus on operational efficiencies, strong presence in key markets, enhancement of our product portfolio, especially our focus on the specialty portfolio. So if you look at the quarter performance or the year performance, we will see a growth across all the parameters of volume, revenue, EBITDA, earning per share. Moving on to the EBITDA evolution or the EBITDA bridge chart compared to the previous period, you would be able to appreciate that the growth is not just on account of volume. We have a positive volume variance and also a positive VA rate variance. And both of this has been possible due to the various expansions that we have had in multiple locations, and also our efforts on enhancing our product portfolio, especially the specialty portfolio. Moving on to the next section, which is on the success enablers for Polyplex. We would like to highlight some of our key attributes of our business model, which we believe has contributed to a great deal to our success. We are probably the only player combining all of these key attributes like global and fully integrated manufacturing setup, a geographically well-diversified sales and distribution network, a wide product portfolio with high share of specialty products, continued focus on operational and cost efficiencies, and focus on environmental social governance. All these have helped us to deliver stable and more superior margins, which is also reflected in our financials. So let's look at each of these attributes in a bit more detail. We have set up self-contained manufacturing and sales capability in all the key geographies. And from this map, if you look at our global footprint, we are present in almost all the key markets. Either it's through a manufacturing setup or through a sales and distribution trading setup. We have rep offices, license offices, sales agent representations in almost all the key markets. And in thin BOPET, we rank globally number 2. This is if we exclude China. And in Southeast Asia, we rank number 1 in terms of BOPET thin capacity. This is a bit on the industry value chain. And as we have been stating in the past, if you look at the highlighted part, which is the area of operation of Polyplex, this is a specialty part of the entire value chain, which is quite differentiated from the rest of the value chain. And we have fully integrated manufacturing at all locations, which helps us with the upstream or the backward integration into resin manufacture and downstream integration into production of various coated films. Now let's talk about some of the key benefits that has accrued to Polyplex because of this feature of integrated operations. Backward integration at all locations helps us in consistent production quality. Obviously, it helps us to lower our cost structure because producing your own resin is much more economical than buying resins from the market by paying a premium. There's also a possibility for us to enhance our revenues and contribution by selling our surplus resin capacity. It also helps us to do a lot of new product development, which otherwise wouldn't be possible if we were sourcing resins. And also we can go for the direct melt casting, which would help us in saving energy and improve the quality of the products, as well as contribute in saving some cost. Downstream or forward integration at all the locations has helped us to diversify our product range and enhance our portfolio. It has helped us to provide customized and innovative solution to our customers. And this obviously has resulted in a higher market and customer penetration for us over the years, and also expanded our specialty portfolio, which we believe is a big plus point and which has delivered results in the recent past. Talking about the specialty film portfolio, DPAC is the terminology that we use to refer to the specialty portfolio. DPAC means differentiated product, differentiated application, and differentiated customer. So differentiated product basically refers to some special features in the product which offer a unique value proposition to our customers. And these are products where usually we would note that the competition is also very limited because of these special features. DPAC, the differentiated application are basically specific applications for a standard product, but it may not be so well known in the market, and hence again is a better value proposition for our customers. Differentiated customer is basically where there are significant entry barriers due to either stringent quality norms or long qualification processes or probably significant trial costs. So with this DPAC, differentiated product, differentiated application, and differentiated customer portfolio, we are able to deliver stable and more superior margins as compared to the industry. And if we look at this slide, which shows the trend of improvement in our DPAC portfolio, we will note that the volumes as well as the incremental EBITDA that we have been able to generate from the DPAC portfolio has improved substantially in the last 5 years. The additional EBITDA per kg, which we've been able to generate due to our strong and continuously growing presence in DPAC film portfolio, is roughly about an additional Thai baht 8 per kilo. And we remain confident that with this constant addition to the differentiated to the DPAC portfolio and all our continuously planned and sustained investments in the specialty segment that we have had in Turkey, in Thailand, in US, we strongly believe, we remain confident that this is going to be one of the key drivers for EBITDA and margin growth for Polyplex in the years to come. These are some of the pictures of applications where our products go into. So as you can see, there's a host of applications in the flexible packaging, and flexible packaging again has two broad segregations. One is the food packaging, and the second is the non-food packaging. And both of these are consumer essentials. So normally, even in times of recession, we don't see any contraction. So the growth historically in the flexible packaging segment has been very, very robust and healthy. Next is the industrial segment, where again we see a whole range of applications which cater to different industry segments. The next key attribute of our business model is our global and well-diversified customer base. And as you can see at PTL console level, we have a large customer base of about 2,000 customers, well spread out geographically again across 75 countries. We have a very good mix of sales in packaging as well as in industrial segment. We cater to a diversified end-used application across several industries, so there is no dependency on any particular industry as such. And because of the diversified customer base, again, there is a very low customer concentration risk, and our top 10 customers account for less than 30% of our sales revenue. Moving on to our next key attribute, we don't lose focus on operational efficiencies and cost structure. We have been in the past, and we continue to do so. We continuously work on improving our cost structure, and this can be evidenced by the recent new investments that we had made. It was all planned in high productivity lines. And along with that, at the same time, we have successfully repurposed or upgraded all our existing older assets, which become less competitive compared to these new high-tech lines. So we have a strategy to convert those older assets to produce more of specialty films. One of the other attributes has been our CUF, which has always remained 100% plus due to the various debottlenecking initiatives that we've been taking. And high CUF of Polyplex in comparison to the industry is also owing to various strategic initiatives that we have taken. Our unparalleled breadth of product portfolio, our large customer base, our local presence in all the key demand centers. And by local presence, what I would like to highlight is that in the recent past, we have seen a clear shift in the customer preferences. While earlier the preferences were for imports over local supplies, but due to the supply chain disruptions that happened in the recent past, we have clearly seen a shift in customer behavior, and there is more preference for local supplies over imports. And Polyplex, because of its local presence in all the key demand centers, stands to benefit from this shift in the customer preferences. We cater to the packaging and industrial segments across a wide range of industries. And because of our diversified sales and distribution network, we have the unique ability to move our material across geographies depending on the local market conditions. Talking about our sustainable growth in the last 5 years. So as you can see, we have had volume growth. Volume growth has mainly come from the various expansion plants that we have successfully commissioned. We have had new base film capacities in BOPET, in BOPP film in Indonesia. Apart from this, we've also had several downstream capacities that were added in Turkey and Thailand. This has not only helped in improving the top line, but also the absolute EBITDA or the EBITDA margin growth in terms of percentage as well as in terms of per kg margin. All of these parameters, as you can see from the graph, has grown substantially over the last 4-5 years. Cash flow from operations have also been quite healthy. And despite significant capex investments that we've had over the last 4 to 5 years, our net debt position is still quite low, which gives us a lot of room to consider any growth opportunities positively. If you look at the financial ratios, the return on capital employed, the return on equity, the earning per share, dividend per share, in line with the improvement in the profitability, we've seen an improvement in all these key indicators as well. Our effective low tax rate is another big differentiator and a strength for Polyplex. Yes, we do see an increase in the tax rate in financial year 22, which is mainly on account of utilization of all the brought forward tax losses until the preceding year, and this was mainly at Thailand. So with the increase in the profitability and also due to higher profits generated at Indonesia, which does not have substantial tax exemption privileges like we had in Thailand from the BOI. Overall effective tax rate has gone up a bit in financial year 22, but we still believe that this is probably lower compared to the normal corporate tax rates prevailing elsewhere. Moving on to the next key attribute, which is our commitment to the sustainable growth. Commitment to ESG is integrated into our company culture. We've always been striving to create sustainable products and through sustainable processes. Polyplex also believes in corporate social responsibility and endeavors to participate or support various initiatives undertaken by the communities that it operates in all the geographies. We have a very high level of commitment to sustainability, which has been demonstrated by alignment of our business goals with various government and industry bodies, investment into post-industrial waste and post-consumer waste recycling, which was mainly through our subsidiary EcoBlue. We have taken initiatives for reduction in the waste generation. We've always been working towards expanding our sustainable product portfolio as well as expanding sustainable applications. And as we've been sharing in the past also, these are some of the examples of the sustainable products that were delivered by Polyplex. Mono PET structure, rPET films with 100% PCR content, just to name a few. Talking about the first recycling initiative of Polyplex, it was the investment in our subsidiary EcoBlue in Thailand way back in 2013. So EcoBlue basically provides sustainable solutions for film-based process waste as well as post-consumer plastic waste. And over the years, EcoBlue has been working with various PET and PO-based waste recyclers to develop high-quality recycled resins, which can actually replace virgin resin in some high-end applications such as bottle, PET film, and filament yarn. And we are proud to share that EcoBlue is the first company in Thailand to produce food-grade rPET resin, which can go into bottle-grade applications. So in short, EcoBlue is fully geared to provide a recycling solution for hard-to-recycle materials and deliver recycled PET and recycled polyolefin resins, which can actually replace virgin resin and meet the sustainability targets of all of the global brand owners. Moving on, this is just a snapshot of the various awards and accolades that Polyplex has been able to get recognition. Talking about the stability in earnings, in the earlier section, we talked about some of our key attributes. So now let's see how these attributes have actually helped us in creating a kind of natural hedge against the industry volatility and also deliver sustainable and superior margin relative to the industry. So if we look at this graph, you would be able to note that the EBITDA per kg over the last 5 years has seen a growth from 15 baht per kg to baht 20 per kg. And we believe that this wouldn't have been possible if we didn't combine the various attributes of global manufacturing base, creating local presence in the key demand centers, enhancing our DPAC product portfolio, having a completely integrated operation. All these attributes have helped to make Polyplex as the preferred supplier and in turn help us in improving our pricing power in this industry. This is a bit about our value additions and the comparison to the industry value addition that prevails. And as you can note over this time period that we've projected here, you will note that Polyplex has been able to deliver relatively stable margins compared to the industry. Pricing of our key raw materials, which is PTA and MEG, are no doubt linked to the crude oil. But since our industry is basically a RM pass-through industry and we're able to pass on the RM cost increases to our customer through price adjustment, the value addition, we believe, is not so much dependent on the movement of the raw material prices. We would say that it's more dependent on the industry CUF. And if you actually notice the delta between the value addition rate of Polyplex and the industry China value addition rate, you would appreciate that the gap between the China VA and the Polyplex VA is highest during the trough of the industry cycle, which again, reiterates validates the strategy, the business strategy of focus on specialty that Polyplex has adopted over the recent past. Moving on to the industry outlook. So as you can see from this chart, there are some capacity expansions which are in the pipeline over the next 2-3 years. But these capacity expansions are mainly in China and in India. And we believe that this increase is in line with the expected demand growth as well. And also there could be some delays or spread out of startup of these new capacity because of the continuing COVID pandemic, as also the supply chain disruptions. There could be bunching up of startups, which could lead to some pressure or some compression of the margins. However, Polyplex believes that based on whatever strengths we have highlighted so far, discussed earlier, of local presence, diversified customer base and portfolio, lowest delivered cost in all the key regions, our continued focus on responsible growth and cost optimization would help ensure that we are able to outperform the industry. Moving on to give you a bit of information about the growth capex plans that we have. The key ongoing project currently is the US Brownfield Expansion. The project cost is roughly about $121 million US, and this includes a BOPET film line, an offline quota, which is a downstream investment, and also upgrading of their resin capability to cater to 2 film lines. This project is expected to start up in H2 of 2023, and Polyplex has a high level of confidence in ramping up this new line very quickly due to the well-established sales and distribution network that we have in North America. And post this new line, Polyplex will become the most competitive producer in the North American region. Thank you very much for your patient listening. So we would like to open the floor for Q&A.
Thanks, Supita. Okay, there's a question on what is the situation in Turkey. So I would like to state that Turkey, as far as the macro environment is concerned, it is quite stable for now last 2 or 3 months. Currency also has stabilized around against US dollar or euro. However, I would like to highlight that all Polyplex sales are denominated in euros, and we export around 70% of our products into mainland Europe. So we are not exposed to any currency movements in Turkey or any other risk pertaining to the country. On the other hand, with depreciating Turkish lira, the producers, our customers in Turkey have become quite competitive against the competition, their competition in Europe. Hence, there is a lot of produce going from Turkey into Europe, which is good for us because we are also a local producer with a wide product portfolio in Turkey.
ค่ะสำหรับคำตอบนะคะที่ว่าสถานการณ์เกี่ยวกับทางตุรกีนะคะก็สรุปรวมๆนะคะว่าตอนนี้เราไม่ได้รับผลกระทบเท่าไหร่นะคะเพราะว่าอย่างแรกคือณตอนนี้เนี่ยเราส่วนใหญ่แล้วเราใช้เป็นยูโรนะคะแล้วก็เราก็เลยไม่ได้มีผลกระทบจากทางเป็นดอลลาร์เท่าไหร่แล้วก็ณตอนนี้เนี่ยมีผลิตภัณฑ์ที่ส่งจากตุรกีไปที่ยุโรปค่อนข้างเยอะค่ะเพราะฉะนั้นก็จะส่งผลดีกับเราค่ะ
Okay, the next question that I see is that whether the business in Q2 is likely to grow well in due to quarter-on-quarter and year-on-year. And so I would say that the business remains quite strong. As an industry, we are in consumer staples, which we have been saying time and again. The demand growth is healthy, remains at around 6 to 7%. The industrial demand has dipped during the COVID pandemic, which also has rebounded, and we see normalcy being attained as far as industrial growth are concerned. So we don't see any issues in the upcoming quarter, in running quarter, in the next quarter, and also rest of the year as far as demand is concerned. On capacity additions outside China and outside India, most of the capacities have been already they have come on stream and have been absorbed by the market. In China, also around I would say around 500,000 tons of capacity has been added and absorbed by the market. Similarly, in India, roughly 200,000 tons of capacity has been added and absorbed by the market. there are furthermore additions which will happen over next 2 to 3 years. However, due to ongoing COVID pandemic, the capacities are being spread out. Whenever, as Suprita mentioned, whenever there is a bunching up of capacity, we expect some compression in margin. However, given strong positioning of Polyplex globally, our ability to move material from one region to other in case of pressure on the margin will enable Polyplex to outperform the industry, whatever is the situation.
ค่ะสำหรับคำถามที่ว่าธุรกิจแนวโน้มธุรกิจในไตรมาส2ของปีนี้นะคะจะมีแนวโน้มเติบโตดีขึ้นมากแค่ไหนอย่างไรนะคะก็คำตอบนะคะก็ณตอนนี้นะคะธุรกิจของเรานะคะยังไปได้อย่างเข้มแข็งแข็งแกร่งนะคะต่อเนื่องก่อนแล้วก็ตัวดีมานด์เองนะคะก็ยังคงมีความต่อเนื่องอยู่ถึงแม้ว่าดีมานด์ในทางฝั่งของอุตสาหกรรมจะตกลงเล็กน้อยนะคะแต่ว่าณตอนเนื่องจากสถานการณ์โควิดแต่ว่าตอนนี้นะคะก็เริ่มที่จะกลับมาแล้วนะคะเพราะฉะนั้นก็ไม่น่าจะมีปัญหาอะไรนะคะสำหรับไตรมาสที่กำลังจะมาถึงส่วนเรื่องของกำลังการผลิตในประเทศต่างๆที่เรามีอยู่นะตอนนี้เนี่ยก็โดยรวมๆแล้วเนี่ยค่ะประมาณครึ่งหนึ่งนะคะก็สามารถส่งออกเข้าไปในตลาดได้แล้วค่ะเพราะฉะนั้นแล้วนอกจากนี้เราก็ยังมีแผนนะคะถ้าสมมติว่าในอนาคตเนี่ยมันมีปัญหาอะไรเกิดขึ้นในแต่ละภูมิภาคก็มีแผนที่จะขยายหรือว่าเคลื่อนย้ายตัว material ของเรานะคะไปสู่อีก regional หนึ่งในอีกภูมิภาคหนึ่งเพื่อที่จะรักษาตัว margin ไว้ค่ะ
Okay, so there's another question on the increased raw material costs and how are we affected and what are the hedges that we have. As we have been saying earlier also, any changes in raw material upward or downward are passed on onto the market with a lag of sometimes 1 to 3 months. And this is what we would expect again. So increasing raw materials are not a concern for Polyplex.
ส่วนในเรื่องคำถามของ ต้นทุนวัตถุดิบพลาสติกน้ำมันที่ปรับตัวขึ้นนะคะก็จะมีผลกระทบมากน้อยแค่ไหนค่ะในส่วนนี้นะคะต้นทุนของเราเนี่ย มันจะถูกส่งต่อไปให้กับทางเป็นค่าการตลาดที่จะสอบไปแบบว่าอาจจะต้องใช้เวลา 1-3 เดือนในการที่จะสอบเข้าไปในต้นทุนของการตลาดแต่ว่าโดยรวมแล้วนะคะเรื่องของค่าต้นทุนวัตถุดิบที่ปรับตัวขึ้นก็ไม่เป็นปัญหาสำหรับเราค่ะ
Okay. So there's another question. What is the company growth story after the US project? So as we have mentioned, US project is expected to go on stream in second half of 2023. On the other hand, if you look at Polyplex growth CAGR of last 5 to 6 years, it has been around 17 to 18%. Whereas the industry has been growing at a rate of 6 to 7%, 7 to 8% in that range. We would expect our growth trajectory to remain similar to what we have so far in last 5 to 6 years. We will definitely continue to grow our baseline base film capacity at a rate better than the industry growth rate. On the other hand, we also continue to invest on the downstream value add side of our business, either both in terms of assets and also in terms of products. And we will see growth in our DPAC portfolio multifold in coming years.
สำหรับคำถามถัดมานะคะที่ว่าบริษัทนะคะมีโปรเจกต์การเติบโตของใน US โปรเจกต์อย่างไรบ้างนะคะก็ณตอนนี้นะคะอย่างที่ทราบกันว่าตัวโปรเจกต์ของอเมริกานะคะจะมาออนไลน์ในช่วงครึ่งปีหลังของปี 2023 นะคะแล้วก็ตอนนี้โดยรวมเนี่ยการเติบโตของบริษัทค่ะก็ดีกว่าการเติบโตของอุตสาหกรรมนะคะสำหรับในภูมิภาคนั้นแล้วก็บริษัทเองก็ยังคงมีแผนที่จะลงทุนนะคะในด้านเพื่อขยับขยายการเติบโตของบริษัทต่อไปค่ะ
On quarter one performance, obviously, as I have responded earlier, also quarter one continues to be robust. The growth, the demand remains to be quite okay and strong. We are ramping up capacity of our BOPP line, so we expect to have a good quarter one as well.
สำหรับคำถามต่อมานะคะที่ว่า performance ของ quarter ที่ไตรมาสที่1เป็นอย่างไรนะคะก็quarter ที่1นะคะผลการประกอบการของเราดีมากๆนะคะแล้วก็น่าจะมีการเติบโตที่แข็งแกร่งต่อไปค่ะ
Okay. There's another question on capacity utilization rate of BOPP production line. So I would like to highlight that our product has been qualified by most of the customers, key customers in Indonesia. We have also initiated export of our products. However, I would like to mention that it takes some time to get the product approved and qualified in developed markets like Europe and the US. On the other hand, we are undergoing ramp up of BOPP capacity as expected, probably better than our expectation. We are speeding up the line in line with whatever recommendation we have from the machine supplier. And as machine supplier is releasing the speed of operation, we are achieving that speed of operation. So I would expect 100% capacity utilization in terms of product mix to be achieved within next 3 to 5 months.
สำหรับคำถามที่8ที่ส่งเข้ามานะคะว่าจะมีการใช้ capacity นะคะของ BOPP เนี่ยได้ประมาณเท่าไหร่ที่จะ achieve นะคะคำตอบนะคะคือณตอนนี้เนี่ยก็กำลังที่เรามี initiative นะคะที่จะเข้ามาเพิ่มตัว capacity นะคะแล้วก็ตอนนี้เนี่ยส่วนผลิตภัณฑ์ของ BOPP เนี่ยจำเป็นที่ต้องใช้สอยเวลานิดนึงนะคะในการที่จะได้รับการอนุมัตินะคะในของภูมิภาค EU แล้วก็ US นะคะแต่ว่าโดยรวมเนี่ยก็มีดีมานด์ที่สูงกว่าที่คาดการไว้นะคะแล้วก็ส่วนเรื่องของ capacity 100% ก็น่าจะสามารถ achieve ได้ภายใน 2-3 เดือนค่ะ
And we expect the ramp up of BOPP line to be no different from our PET line performance in Indonesia.
แล้วก็ตัว BOPP นะคะน่าจะ ramp up เข้าขึ้นมาได้นะคะในเทียบกับในภูมิภาคอะค่ะการcapacity น่าจะเพิ่มขึ้นมาได้เรื่อยๆค่ะ
Suprita, would you like to take the question, the next question?
We have the question number 9 in Thai. Hold on one moment, please. It's already translated in the chat.
Yeah.
Suprita, Ashutosh, Suprita, there's a question. The company has debts that cost interest, and how much interest rates are available?
Okay, the question is actually not very clear. Either it's a translation issue, but I believe the question is about how much of interest burden increase that the company expects. So in terms of debt, yes, we have contracted additional debt of $25 million for the US expansion. So that would be added to our debt portfolio. And we have had additional debt at Indonesia for the BOPP project. That was about $20 million. We have borrowed about $12 million at EcoBlue. So the full interest of these would reflect in this coming year and the year after that. So we believe that interest burden on the company would increase, but the interest rates for all these loans are quite competitive. So we believe that it will not have such a significant impact. And plus, with the cash generated from the operations, we would be able to reduce the working capital debt at Thailand level. So that should help offset partly some of the increase in the long-term loan interest cost.
คำถามที่9นะคะที่ว่าปัจจุบันนี้บริษัทมีหนี้ต้นทุนดอกเบี้ยเท่าไหร่อันนี้ไม่อาจจะคำถามเป็นกว้างๆนิดนึงนะคะเขาก็เลยไม่แน่ใจว่าถามแล้วจะเจาะตรงไหนนะคะแต่ว่าโดยรวมนะคะตอนนี้เรามีหนี้นะคะที่เป็นของโปรเจกต์อเมริกานะคะอยู่ที่ราวๆสักครู่นะคะ45 ล้าน US ดอลลาร์เขามีของที่อินโดนะคะโดยที่ประมาณที่20 ล้านนะคะแล้วก็ตัวแต่ว่าอย่างไรก็ตามดอกเบี้ยนะคะของเงินกู้อันนี้เนี่ยนะคะมันค่อนข้างที่จะ competitive นะคะก็เพราะฉะนั้นโดยรวมไม่น่าจะมีปัญหาอะไรค่ะ
Okay, so there's another question relating to anti-dumping imposed on BOPP imports in Thailand over some countries, which includes Indonesia, and how would it affect us positively or negatively? So I would say that it will have no impact on our ongoing operations in Indonesia whatsoever. the business plan and sales plan of Indonesia for BOPP was considering most of the sales into domestic market and some of the sales to be exported, be export sales out of the region. So that would be either to Europe or the US. So anti-dumping imposition on Indonesia and Vietnam, on Malaysia, etc., would have no impact on Polyplex operations, either positive or negative.
สำหรับคำถามข้อที่10นะคะที่ว่ามีกฎหมาย anti dumping ขึ้นมาในประเทศไทยนะคะจะมีผลต่อเราหรือไม่นะคะก็ส่วนการบอกเลยว่าการกฎหมายนี้นะคะก็เรื่องของไม่มีผลเราเท่าไหร่นะคะในการงานธุรกิจในอินโดนะคะเพราะว่าส่วนใหญ่แล้วนะคะพวกเซลล์ของเราเนี่ยจะเป็น domestic นะคะในประเทศแล้วก็บางส่วนเนี่ยค่ะจะถูกส่งออกไปยังยุโรปแล้วก็อเมริกาเพราะฉะนั้นค่ะกฎหมายนี้ก็ไม่มีผลกับเราค่ะ
Okay, there's another question. Very pertinent question is how is the lead time for new machines for BOPP and BOPET from Dornier and Dubner? So they continue to be long, and I would say the lead time for a new line would be anywhere between 2 to 2.5 years. And this is because of several reasons. Obviously, demand growth of both BOPP and BOPET industry, and both industry demand are in packaging as well as industrial. So there is a natural growth of BOPET industry around flexible packaging and BOPP industry around flexible packaging, which we have said is growing at 6 to 8%. On the other hand, there are new upcoming applications like battery separator film. Obviously, that is growing quite rapidly. So a lot of new capacity is coming up in battery separator film, which is thin BOPP, thin olefinic films. On the other hand, there is a strong demand of in solar industries around solar modules. The demand is quite strong, especially in India. So there are quite some lines coming up around photovoltaic industry.
สำหรับคำถามต่อมานะคะที่ว่า lead time นะคะของเครื่องจักรใหม่ที่จะใช้ในการผลิตBOPP นะคะและ POPET เนี่ยนะคะจะยังเพราะว่านอกจากนี้คือดูเหมือนว่า capacity จะค่อนข้างเต็มแล้วเนี่ยนะคะจะเป็นอย่างไรก็ lead time นะคะก็น่าจะใช้เวลาประมาณ2 ถึง 2 ปีครึ่งนะคะแล้วก็ณตอนนี้เนี่ยความต้องการนะคะของ BOPP แล้วก็ POPET เนี่ยค่อนข้างเติบโตขึ้นสูงมากนะคะแล้วเนื่องจากเรื่องของพวกแพ็กเกจแล้วก็ตัวนอกจากนี้ยังจะมีแอปพลิเคชันใหม่ๆที่ออกมาแล้วก็ซึ่งมีการเติบโตด้วยเช่นกันแต่ก็พยายามจะบริหารจัดการให้ตัวเครื่องจักรมาตอบสนองต่อ capacity ให้เพียงพอค่ะ
So there are no further questions.
There is another question.
Yeah, there's one more question on
one more question on the number 11. What is the expected tax rate for this year?
Ashutosh, do you want to take it? Okay. Basically, in the coming year, we would have higher share of profits at the Indonesia subsidiary from the ramp up of the BOPP operations. And as I had mentioned during my presentation, that Indonesia subsidiary does not have too many tax exemption privileges. So we believe that there should be a further increase in the tax rate. But having said that, it would still probably be in the range of, say, 10-12%, probably in the lower double-digit range.
สำหรับคำถามที่11นะคะที่ถามว่าตัวอัตราภาษีสำหรับปีนี้จะเป็นอย่างไรนะคะแล้วก็ในตัวสำหรับปีนี้นะคะเราก็คาดการณ์ว่าน่าจะมีสัดส่วนของ higher share มากขึ้นนะคะในธุรกิจของอินโดนีเซียเพราะว่าจะมีการramp upการผลิตในอินโดนีเซียขึ้นมาแต่ว่าในตัวอินโดนีเซียนะคะเขาไม่ค่อยมีตัวtax privilege สักเท่าไหร่นะคะแต่ก็คิดว่าน่าจะยังได้ระดับภาษีที่ยังโอเคอยู่ค่ะ
So there's another question: would Ukraine-Russia war affect machinery delivery overall, or would there be further delay? No, we don't expect any delay in machine delivery due to Ukraine-Russia war. It generally had impact on the energy cost, but as far as any manufacturing operation is concerned in Europe or around Ukraine, there is not any impact that we have seen so far, and we don't expect any.
สำหรับคำถามที่12นะคะว่าผลกระทบต่อสถานการณ์ของยูเครนรัสเซียนะคะจะส่งผลต่อการส่งมอบเครื่องจักรหรือเปล่านะคะจะทำให้เกิดการล่าช้าไปหรือไม่นะอันนี้นะคะเนื่องจากสถานการณ์ของยูเครนกับรัสเซียเนี่ยน่าจะส่งผลต่อเรื่องของราคาเชื้อเพลิงเป็นหลักนะคะไม่มีผลต่อทางด้านการผลิตนะคะแล้วก็อุตสาหกรรมเพราะฉะนั้นเราไม่คาดว่าจะมีผลนะในด้านของการส่งมอบเครื่องจักรค่ะ
Yeah, I think there are no more questions on the Q&A platform. So thank you everyone for your participation and hope the management has been able to address all the questions to your satisfaction. Sawadee ka.
Sorry, Cap.